You are now listening to the sexiest podcast in the world, The Lady and the Don.
What's the deal, my people? You know this is Don Tony Teflon, the Lady and Lamar, and you're listening to the world's sexiest podcast, The Lady and the Don. And this is podcast episode 4 already. They are flying by. My co-host, Lamar, how are you?
Amazing as always, Tony. Number 4. Oh my gosh, these are flying by. My goodness. Amazing.
They sure are. I have a lot of fun doing this. I hope everyone else is having fun. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Teflon TV, and subscribe to Podbean on Podbean. Find the Lady and the Don podcast. Download that and make sure, subscribe or like it or whatever you got to do so that you are alerted every time we upload a new podcast. There's one every week, and we're always talking about interesting things. Now, have you had the chance to see this movie? It has been the blockbuster. People have been waiting for It Too. Yeah. Have you had the chance to see It Too?
Yes, I did have a chance to see it, Tony. Definitely, yeah.
Perfect. See, I am not a horror person. I will say that right off the bat because these horror movies, they cannot scare me. I'm a grown-ass man. It's just never going to happen. I'm never going to be afraid of a movie. You know, when I was a child, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, yes, it frightened me. But as a grown man, I cannot be scared. You know, there's no haunted house that's going to scare me. I have haunted houses just walking around my neighborhood with there's Crips and Bloods pulling guns on you.
Oh,
you know
my
what
God.
I mean? That's more of a scary situation, let alone some clown. You know what I mean? So I could not see it, but thankfully Lamar did see it. So we're going to get a comment and we're going to try to answer the question, is It 2 better than It 1 or vice versa? It wasn't really worth the sequel. So when we take a look at the numbers of this right off the bat, I would say there is a little bit of a problem here because the first movie cost $35 million to make it on opening weekend. It pulled in $123.4 million. It Too cost $79 million to make and only pulled in $91 million this opening weekend. So it's a little bit off. Maybe it's because there's adult actors in this one, and maybe people like to see horror movies with children. Maybe that's the case. But let's go initially, Elamar, when you went to the movie theater. Was the movie theater crowded when you went there?
It was. Surprisingly enough, it was really crowded. I was surprised. Yes, there were people. I had to get my own spot, and there are maybe 3 seats left. And I actually saw a morning show, which tells a lot about, people wanting to see it that early.
Exactly, because usually I like to go see the matinee too. Not because it's cheaper either, people. I don't mind paying, but usually you can get there and there's not a lot of people there. So saying if there's a lot of people in the matinee, that sounds very good. Even though the numbers don't reflect it, we see, but at least in your area, it still had a lot of steam going on to it. So what is your initial thoughts of the movie?
Oh, I gotta start with just a disclaimer that I used to be a lover of horror movies. I am completely disenchanted with the current horror movies that are out there. I stopped liking it, but the first movie that I saw was It. That was the first one. I saw this one just because I wanted to see how it kind of concludes. And I just have to say I was disappointed. I did not like it.
All right. We're going to get into the reasons why you didn't like it in a little bit. Now, we know that it's a switch up, right? From the first movie, they were all little kids, and now this movie, they're adults. And they come back to the town. Now, the adult actors compared to the child actors, do you like them better or do you like the child actors better?
Actually, they had a good balance of it. In this movie, what they did is, I didn't expect it, they brought the kids as well. They brought the kid actors over there, so it felt like a continuation. They did well on that. But I would say I preferred there's a different dynamic, but I enjoy the kid actors more for some strange reason. But they had them both over there, so that was one nice thing that I have to say about that.
And you are not alone with your dislike for the movie. When we look at the Rotten Tomato score, it was 64%, and I think a lot of that has to do with the runtime. Now, this movie was 3 hours long, a 3-hour horror movie. Now, I know that the Avengers have pulled off 3-hour movies, and you see other dramas pull off 3-hour movies, but I truly have never heard of a 3-hour horror movie. Now, was that one of the disappointments for you, was the length of this movie?
Yeah, it's not even. I was wondering, will those 3 hours be, 6 hours in real life? Like, will I feel like it's 6 hours, or will I feel like it's an hour? It felt like 3 hours. It didn't feel longer. It didn't feel shorter. So, but I felt every minute of that movie, and that's not a good thing. I felt every minute, and I was praying, just please, when will it end? Because they lost me midway. Like, yeah, the time was an issue. Not
Right.
a good. Yeah.
So would you say it was more the pacing of the movie? It wasn't done right, or that's what lost you during it?
Somewhere middle of it, I thought like, okay, I would cut half of it. And yes, we get it. There's a jump scare every 5 minutes. Yes, I get it. Apparently, it's scary to teenagers, not to me. And I would just cut a lot of it off. Literally, like there was a lot of blood. I do love my gore. Don't get me wrong. That was the thing that really like, oh, that's nice. A lot of guts. Love it. But please, like after like 5 times of getting, jump scare within 5 minutes, I'm kind of done with that jump scares at all. It
Yeah.
was, yeah. Mm-mm.
Yeah, they have to understand that, a lot of adults are going to see this, and you can't just use, I
Mm-mm.
mean, it's like a one-trick pony is what it sounds like to me, that they're doing the same gag over and over again. And how many times can you ask somebody to fall for this gag? You only jump scare someone once. Then you have to come up with other ways to scare people, and I also see the problem about this clown
Mm-hmm.
as I see with the other problem, Jason and Freddy, that people start to cheer for the clown to kill these people. And the clown becomes the more of a star than the actual heroes in the movie. Is that the case?
Oh gosh, I was like, there was maybe the aggravation in me was like, please just let me have that hammer and I'll let me help you, clown. I'll help you. Just give me that whatever the thing you have. I'll finish them off for you, man. No, literally, I'm sorry. Again, I'm picky when it comes to horror movies. I was a huge fan. There are some things that will scare me. This was not scary at all. The only thing was the clock was ticking so slow, and I really wanted to see the ending too. That was another issue. Yeah, but I just wanted to help that clown. I was rooting for the clown. Like, just finish them off. Come on, hurry up, man.
Yeah, that's usually not a good thing when you have a movie like this in the clown. Now, also when you're watching this movie, you've seen the first one with the kids and everything else, and now they have the full-grown adults, and they're coming back to the town. They're facing this it. What was your favorite parts of the movie?
The favorite part, I guess it's hard to say. Maybe the me trying again. This is kind of gonna sound sarcastic in a way. Me trying to figure out who's who. Like it was like a guessing game to me. They either did not present it well enough to kind of pinpoint for me which character was this character, which one was this one. And maybe I missed the point because I was aggravated by some other stuff. But in the middle of the movie, I'm thinking I should have looked up the names. I should have looked up whoever the heck that was because I forgot their names. There was a lot of they had to rely on the names and trying to picture. Okay, this is the story continuation. This is that. So there was nothing that interested me really. Maybe the gore part of it. Maybe just the gore and how they showed it. But that's a cheap entertainment, and I can't say anything great about it. And that's
Oh my
sad
God.
because I love horror movies. I used to love them. This was a huge disappointment. Yeah. But
Yeah,
I'm
that's
glad I
very
saw
sad.
it. I'm glad I saw it. I know that I'm standing with my opinion on horror movies that these days they just suck. At least I don't like them.
I'm sorry for you that you had to go sit through 3 hours of something that you didn't like, and you can't think of one good thing to say in
No,
three
I'm
hours of
sorry.
the whole
No.
movie. That's terrible. That just shows that maybe the Rotten Tomatoes score was right. All right, so what was if you had nothing that you didn't like, what did you liked? What didn't you like? Give me the number one thing that you thought was this did
Um
not fly for you in this movie.
Even with the jump scares, I get it sometimes when people like if I'm standing somewhere and if somebody says boo to me, like obviously I'm gonna jump. Like if you say boo and you're behind me, I'm gonna get scared. With this one, they did not even do the boo thing where you get when you jump because there's a noise. What they did was they gave like a couple seconds of a break, then they said boo. I'm like, I know it's coming. I know you're gonna say boo to me, like scare me. So that was they couldn't even do the jump scares correctly at all.
Oh wow! Oh wow! How about the clown itself? How did it compared to the first movie? be portrayed? Do you like it better? Do you like it better? Did you like the clown Pennywise? Right, that's his name.
Pennywise.
Did you like Pennywise better in this? Because when you compare the original one, obviously the TV series it wasn't a movie. It's going to the costume. I like the way the look of this clown was. I really did like when I seen it first. I liked the look. It looked scary. It looked creepy, but did it live up to everything watching it this movie?
I did like the teeth, the scary looking teeth, the face, and the way he was kind of ripping his face off. That was really scary. The gore part of it, when he actually did some stuff where you could actually see the terror in his, in people's faces. I did like the clown. It was scary. Yeah, I did like the way he looked really, really scary to me. Those are scary clowns, and I completely see how young kids and teenagers would be afraid of that. I don't know how they would even go to that movie because that looked scary. That thing would give me nightmares just by the way it looked.
Nice. So would you want to see a third movie of this saga?
No. I'm sorry. I would not. I'm not. No third chances. I'm sorry. No, that one failed.
I don't think your dog wants to see it either.
Yeah, I'm gonna. If it's okay, Tony, I'm gonna take a second and I'm gonna let that beast in, and maybe that's gonna be some quiet. Just a sec.
Go ahead, let him in.
So actually, my dog is representing my emotions with that movie. Yeah, I wanted to. I'm glad I saw it. And I'm glad that I can compare it, but I would not want to see the third one at all.
I'm glad you have taken one for the team. Because I tell you, from your reaction, if I would have went to see this movie, I'm a movie walker outer. Like I don't waste my time. I'm not one of these people that'll pay the money and I'm sitting because I paid the money. If this movie sucks, I walk out the movie. Like I walked out of the door, the second movie. I walked right out. Probably like 45 minutes in, I was out of there. You know what I mean? That was it. I would walk out of a movie. I'm known for this. And if I would have, what you're saying, if I would have been here, I would have just left the movie theater, and that would have just been it for me. Because I got my time is precious. It's something I can't get back. So I'm not going to spend 3 hours in the movie. And when I heard that the movie runtime was 3 hours, I knew there was something wrong. Because a lot of these directors and everyone else, now how was when it was shot? How long is it really? 5 hours, and you chopped it down to 3?
Exactly.
What is this? It's a horror movie. The thing to me about horror movies is you gotta get in and get out.
Yep.
In and out. You're scaring people, and you want to leave them wanting more. A 3-hour movie doesn't seem like you're leaving them wanting more. When you see the Avengers, the last one that came out for this last Endgame, it was the end of that saga. So it lasted 3 hours because it had to, because that was the end of it. So you had to have something last this long. I think, is supposed to be the second movie in a trilogy, and yet you're giving a 3-hour movie. Maybe the last one could have been 3 hours, but the middle movie, I think that's a little crazy to be 3 hours. So on a scale of 1 to 10, on the Lady and the Don scale, what do you give this movie?
I would say a 2.
That's caca, folks. That means it's caca. All right, so we're gonna rate this movie caca.
It is definitely rated caca. Definitely that. That's the 3 hours of my life I will never get back. But I am a dedicated person, and I said through that I wanted to make sure that I find if there's anything that is good, either the ending. I did not see anything good about it. Nothing.
Oh, there you have the It chapter, the It 2 review from the Lady and the Don. Sorry, we keep it real here. We're not gonna sugarcoat stuff. We're not getting paid by these companies. We tell you the truth, and that's it. The lady says that the movie was caca. It's rated caca by the Lady and the Don.